Hey there everyone, Beard here. Today we're going to be covering a glitch that has plagued King K Rool since the game's release, and later Banjo and Kazooie. Despite King K Rool being possibly one of the most buffed characters since the game's release, the issue remains. Only recently have we begun to understand how it occurs, primarily thanks to the effort of Plague Von Karma. You may have experienced an odd interaction where your berry throw with K Rool or Banjo has caused the opponent to rocket into the air. This interaction is known as the bounce glitch. It's a prevalent problem with characters and happens on a variety of stages, including Yoshi's Story, Lilac Cruise, and even Battlefield. It can occur on platforms through a specific chain of events we'll explain in a bit. Before we explain how this happens, we need to explain two things: environmental collision boxes and model bones. You may have heard of ECBs in the Melee community, as they're a very prevalent part of the game's mechanics there. They're a thing in every Smash game and essentially are what determine collision detection. That's all we really need to know here. Model bones are where your hitboxes come from and how animations are put together. One specific bone, named trans in the game's files, is the origin point of the other bones. However, it usually isn't where hitboxes are placed. Those are usually placed on the top bone, arms, and generally where you would expect. The ECB and trans bone will come together to determine how a character interacts with an opponent's throw. When thrown, a character's trans bone will connect with the throw point, and the ECB will determine where the opponent is in the eyes of the game. Take note of this, it's important. So how does this affect the down throws? Well, the berry throws for Banjo and K Rool have their throw points placed poorly. They end up above the ground rather than on it. This usually isn't a problem, as the game will place the opponent in the ground anyway, and the trans bone is usually placed properly. But if it's a slope, the opponent will sometimes be too far in the air for the game to relocate them. In this case, they are buried for a single frame in the pass state prior to the bury, but then they're immediately released into the bury release state as they're in the air now. Then, the opponent rockets up into the air using their airspeed as a basis. Don't ask, we don't know why this happens. This is a very rough explanation, but we don't really know all the ins and outs due to how surreal each interaction is here. It's an absurd combination of game mechanics that even modders we've talked to only really have theories and guesswork to explain it. Due to the nature of the glitch, it has natural inconsistency, even across characters. Some characters, such as Meta Knight, will bounce on Yoshi's Story and Lilac Cruise's stage bases, but will not bounce on Lilac Cruise's platform or during platform drop. Others, such as Bayonetta and Bowser Jr., will bounce in every instance, and even on some of the edges of stages like Battlefield, Pokemon Stadium 2, and even on the edge of platforms on almost every stage. This is because every thrown animation is different, and their ECBs and trans bones will be as well as a result. The bounce glitch has another method of occurrence though. If an opponent is grabbed while dropping through a platform during a specific frame window, it's possible for an opponent to be bounced here. The frame windows vary by character, but the most common frames is frames 4 through 7, or 1 through 4 if we count from when K Rool begins his grab. Interactions can also be odd, such as varying bounce heights and Bayonetta teleporting behind K Rool. So what does this mean for K Rool and Banjo? This glitch has hurt the characters quite a bit ever since they came out. While Banjo players have found niche use for it in beginning up air juggles, it's inconsistent due to the in lag, and K Rool has suffered immensely. Since Banjo's bounce glitch isn't well documented, we'll focus on K Rool. Many K Rool players will specifically ban Yoshi's Story and Lilac Cruise in tournament due to the sheer inconsistency of the glitch given the characters in many matchups. Some characters are capable of punishing K Rool out of a bounce glitch, namely Ganondorf using his fast fall neutral air and starting a combo, such as a dash attack into up air, Rosalina can have Luma hit K Rool up to the now airborne princess and attempt to take a stock with her up air. These interactions, while specific, aren't difficult to pull off in the rare case the glitch happens. All it takes is for the player to have the knowledge and good reaction time. It's essentially a neutral reset in every case it happens, since, well, there's no punish for K Rool to abuse. He has no true combos out of the glitch, only frame traps and ways to catch the opponent's mashed options, such as an attack or an air dodge. He is always at a hefty frame minus, which a bounce glitch Mario being at -22 on hit at any percentage. Considering reaction time and options available, the advantage is mostly neutral, but still in Mario's favor. This glitch adds inconsistency and inherent counterplay to K Rool's down throw that shouldn't be there. K Rool's main way of closing out stocks, which is already a dice roll based on mash-based options, becomes a slot machine. Will the opponent bounce or not? If they bounce, what do they do? If they're buried, does K Rool do dash attack? All of these are massive things the player needs to consider. Even with all this, if attempting a down throw on a platform, opponents can drop through anticipating it happening in an attempt to reset neutral. So how do you fix it? Well, our theorized way would be to change down throw's animation, namely where the throw bone is. It's slightly above the ground, and while we're not sure how this would change interactions on platforms, it could be moved a bit below the ground. Or, changing the berry throw mechanics to try and snap the opponent to the ground more than it already does. It seems to do it halfway, but just sometimes has these weird oddities occur. So, that's all there is for this video. It's a bit short, but we hope this video becomes a stepping stone at eventually having this problem fixed. This is a major problem in both Banjo and K Rool's kits, and the fact that it has been known for a year and not even touched is a serious issue. This is Beard from Von Karma Gaming, and we'll see you all in the next video.